Welcome back, YouTube. So we've been talking about this run up. At least I have been on my channel and been anticipating it for the last couple of weeks. And the reason I've been anticipating this, and I'll go ahead and elaborate that a little more, is not only the historics, like we talked about in those specific videos, that when we get into this time frame, we typically have a run. But what happens is the supply or the availability of these stocks, AMC, to be lent at these prices, the volume gets really low. And what happens is it's kind of like a trifecta of things. So you have increased demand overall on the share to be purchased at these prices, and then you have the supply of the shares running extremely low. And what this does on the broker side is they raise the interest rates. I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but on Friday, the fee to borrow AMC to short it was 19.4% when we only had 60,000 shares available to borrow. And at the end of the day, we had 400,000 shares to borrow, and it only went down 0.1% or to 19.3%. That's an additional like 360,000 shares, and it only made a difference of 0.1%. And this is important because what this means is, they're definitely going to back off with the shorting, and they're going to have to let the price run so that they can get some shares on the market. And the only way they can get shares on the market is when retail sells. So they're going to have to incentivize retail selling shares by getting by letting the price of the stock run. And this is why I was saying that usually we get that 40 to 100% run, is because that is typically when people start taking profits, traders, swing traders, and stuff like that. They got in at 8, they'll start selling at 16, 12 to 16, and call it a good day. So this is kind of what we're seeing here. We'll see this creep up as they try and get additional shares in the market and try and get that borrow fee down. Because as long as that borrow fee is 20% or higher, they are not going to short anywhere near to the levels that we've seen them short previously, because it's just going to cost them an absolute fortune. And then they're going to have to try and swap. And this is how you get those explosions and stuff that we've seen in the past and historically, that we see when we get around these marks, these levels here. So if you take a look, you'll see that typically when we get these runs here, this is just the last cycle. I won't go back too far, but when we get these breakdowns here to around, like again, like the $8 mark, we have these explosions upward. And normally you can see this one here, this one went up to around 18 bucks. So we're talking like 120% run, right? This one here, which is the very last one, we got down to around, was this like 860? We went up, got rejection off of around 1608. So again, around 100%. So this will be the third time testing this theory here, because you'll see that they'll try and get it up, they'll short it back down, they'll try and get it up, they'll short it back down, and then that. But eventually, that cool off period has to happen for the coin, for the asset. So this is kind of what we're going to see now. Maybe they'll be able to get it back down very briefly, but as you can see, when we hit this mark here, historically, I don't like making guarantees and stuff like that. Say this is without a doubt this is going to happen, but historically, this has happened so far 100% of the time that we've hit these levels and prices. That cool off period must happen, and we see that 40 to 100% increase in the price of the stock. So keep an eye on that for this week. For this week, that's one of the indicators to look for. Look for the available shares to borrow, and more importantly, keep an eye on the fee to borrow these stocks. That will give you a really good indicator as to when they're going to re-enter the market, because that fee has to come down dramatically before they do so. So that's my AMC update. Hope this video finds you well. Check out Moo for payment for order flow free trading. I have a link for them in the descriptions. And if you want my trades for the week, you're more than welcome to join us in the Patreon. I have a link in the description section as well. Thank you and have a good night.